The most powerful transformations happen when nobody's watching. While others are posting about their plans, seeking validation for their efforts, and performing their growth for an audience, the truly elite are building in silence. I've spent years perfecting my craft in complete anonymity, not because I lacked confidence, but because I understood something most people never learn. Real strength develops in private, away from opinions, expectations, and the need for immediate recognition. When you build yourself in the dark, you eliminate the pressure to look successful before you actually are. You remove the temptation to quit when progress feels slow, because there's no audience to disappoint. You develop genuine competence instead of performing competence. Most people's growth is performative. They announce their goals, document every small step, and seek encouragement from others to maintain motivation. But this external validation becomes a crutch that weakens their internal drive. The strongest people I know did their most important work when nobody cared, nobody knew, and nobody was cheering them on. They developed skills in obscurity, built character in isolation, and created value without recognition. This isn't about being antisocial or rejecting all support. It's about understanding that your most crucial development happens in the hours when you're alone with your craft, your thoughts, and your commitment to becoming better.
For years, I was the guy who did the bare minimum. Coasted through everything. Never pushed myself. Never really tried at anything. People saw me as lazy, unmotivated, someone who would never amount to much. But then, something clicked. I found something worth working for, and everything changed. But here's the thing. That change didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen in public. The real transformation happened in those quiet hours when I was alone, pushing myself harder than I'd ever pushed before. While others were hanging out, relaxing, doing what felt comfortable, I was discovering what it meant to actually care about something enough to sacrifice for it. Nobody saw those early morning sessions when my body wanted to quit. Nobody witnessed the frustration of failing at techniques that should have been simple. Nobody was there for the boring, repetitive practice that slowly built the skills everyone would later call natural talent. The world only saw the results. The goals, the plays, the moments that looked effortless. They didn't see the effort that made those moments possible. They called it genius when it was really just dedication, applied consistently when nobody was watching. That's the secret most people miss. Your breakthrough moments happen in public, but your breakthrough work happens in private.
When I first started training to become a soul reaper, I was weak, embarrassingly weak. I couldn't control my spiritual pressure. My sword techniques were clumsy, and I was constantly getting saved by people stronger than me. But the real growth didn't happen during the dramatic battles everyone remembers. It happened during those long hours of training, alone, falling down over and over again, getting back up when nobody was there to encourage me or tell me I was improving. I spent countless nights practicing basic sword forms until my hands bled, not because it was glamorous or because anyone was watching, but because I knew people were counting on me, and I refused to let them down due to my own lack of preparation. The hardest part wasn't the physical training. It was training my mind to push through when everything hurt, when progress felt invisible, when the voice in my head said I wasn't strong enough and never would be. But that's where real strength is built, in those moments when you have to choose between giving up or taking one more step forward, and nobody's there to make that choice for you, except you. The battles people see are just the final exam. The real education happens in the dark, alone, when you're building the foundation that will either hold or crumble when everything's on the line.
For most of my life, I rejected half of my power because it reminded me of my father. I was so focused on proving I didn't need his fire that I handicapped myself, using only ice in battles where I needed both elements to win. But the real work of accepting my full potential didn't happen during fights or in front of classmates. It happened in private moments, when I had to confront the parts of myself I'd been running from. Late at night, alone in my room, I had to face the truth that my hatred for my father was limiting my own growth. I had to work through years of anger and resentment, not because anyone was forcing me to, but because I finally understood that my own success mattered more than my grudges. The hardest battles aren't against external enemies. They're against the parts of yourself that you've rejected, ignored, or tried to suppress. These internal conflicts don't get resolved in public moments of drama. They get resolved in quiet hours of honest self-reflection. Nobody witnessed the nights I spent learning to use my fire without anger, to access my father's power without becoming him. That work was mine to do alone, and it was the most important training I ever did. Sometimes building yourself in the dark means facing the darkness within yourself and choosing to grow beyond it.
Power that announces itself is not true power. Real strength is developed in silence, refined in isolation, and revealed only when absolutely necessary. For 1,000 years I existed in fragments, sealed away while the world forgot what true dominance looked like. But that time wasn't wasted. It was preparation. While others grew soft and comfortable, I maintained my edge through sheer force of will. Most people mistake loudness for strength, performance for power. They need constant validation, regular recognition, immediate results from their efforts. This need for external confirmation reveals the weakness at their core. True excellence is self-sustaining. It doesn't require applause to continue growing, doesn't need encouragement to keep improving, doesn't depend on others' belief to maintain confidence in its direction. When you build yourself properly in the dark, you develop something that can't be shaken by criticism, can't be diminished by others' success, can't be corrupted by praise or broken by failure. You become a force that operates independently of external circumstances. The weak seek audiences for their growth. The strong grow in solitude and emerge only when they're ready to dominate. There's a difference between hiding from challenges and strategically developing capabilities before revealing them. Choose your moment of emergence wisely, but never mistake preparation time for wasted time.